And hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Masters League Magnificence out of the map New Kirk City. Spying out here in the bottom right-hand corner, we do have TFASC's representative, the blue Terran player. It's going to be Revengale. And now down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent coming from Team PWT. It's going to be Predator, our red Zerg player. Don't know who PWT is, but, you know, I also don't know who TFASC is. They both seem like they're actual like clans or teams or something, or someone that actually like competes in something, but I have no idea what either of them mean. So I'm just gonna go with it and say, yeah, TFASC and PWT, good guys. Good job, everybody. It's going to be a TVZ on this new, reasonably new map. I mean, it's really just an old map with like one extra pathway. This is really the only change. This area right here is the only change to the old map of New Kirk Precinct. I'm actually not sure if this is still called New Kirk Precinct. It might be called something completely different, and I just look like a jackass. But I'm okay with that. I look like a jackass 95% of the time anyway, so, you know, an extra 2% of the time does not really hurt me. So anyway, we are going to have a TVZ on this map. I would not be too surprised to see Predator going for a 15 hatch, and it looks like that might just be his strategy of choice. Yes, it will. It'll be a 15 hatch. Either that or it'll be a 15 pool, and he's just a wonky dude. But I'm guessing it's going to be a 15 hatch, but, you know, who the hell knows. Anyway, we are going to have our Terran player looking like he's going to be going for a Reaper opener, which is not too much of a surprise. Reaper openers are extremely popular against the Zergy kind currently, just because they're so super strong at just getting that scouting information out. And it lets you keep your SCVs in your base for the entire early part of the game, and you can really mine up a lot faster, which helps to counteract the fact that that your Terran, or that your Zerg opponents really get a lot more workers at any given point in time. It looks like we are going to have the drone getting chased out by the SCV. He really doesn't want to get locked in there. He did manage to see everything that was important. He saw the gas. Yeah, he did. All right, so he saw the gas. He saw the barracks. He knows what's coming. We do have the Reaper on the way. We have the orbital command also coming down. We do have this spawning pool on its way as well, along with an extractor. So Predator is going to have a spawning pool up reasonably fast. However, the first Reaper will be able to get in and possibly get a kill on a drone, but it's going to be rough. I mean, it's going to be a very tight timing as far as this Reaper goes. It will at the very least get a lot of scouting information done, but the kill is really going to depend on how good Predator's micro is. We are going to have all of these drones starting to pile up into the extractor. This SCV is going to get a full scout off on its own. I'm surprised he actually decided to send an SCV cross map. Usually you don't see a lot of players do that, just because, I mean, if you're going for Reapers, it's well worth your time to just keep all of your workers in your main base and kind of have them running around over there. It looks like this Reaper will be escaping over to this other half of the map. We do have 4 Zerglings on the way, so this Reaper is kind of already paying for itself as far as prevented drones, because even preventing 1 drones with the Reaper is pretty good. We do have a bunker coming down, which is an interesting choice and strategy. With 4 Zerglings on the way, I highly doubt this is going to work out in a good way for our blue Terran player. We do have the SCV getting sniped, so of course this bunker will never be able to finish, and it will get canceled right now, as we do have the 75 minerals getting stored up for Revengale. Losing a little bit there, but honestly, you know, forcing out those extra fuelings is definitely worth it. Predator, of course, doing a very good job of not overreacting to it, and now he does have these Zerglings to help him fight off the Reapers, which is very handy. The Reapers are actually going to be going in and trying to dive for the Zerglings, which is an interesting strategy. I'm not sure how well it'll actually work out for him, as we do have the Queen currently standing guard at this natural. It looks like these Zerglings are going to be standing here. The actual Reapers are going to be diving in, which is yet again an interesting strategy. These are extremely ballsy Reapers. I mean, Revengale, his I have to say, his play is just being impeccable right now. I mean, these Reapers are getting in and they're trying to do as much damage as possible. Granted, they have not done an incredible amount of damage. I think they have maybe 1 kill between them, and it's not a worker kill. Actually, yeah, no, it's not a worker kill. The only worker kill is for Predator right now. So really, these Reapers are not being amazing. He finally manages to kill off a drone here. He might be able to kill off a couple of Zerglings if he plays his cards right. He will be able to scout out the 3rd base, which is quite handy. And then if we just look at his main base, he is currently going for the Hellions, which is not too much of a surprise on this map and just for Terran in general currently in this matchup. Hellions have been an extremely popular unit for like the last 6 months. I'm kind of interested to see if it ever makes a paradigm shift back out of the popular play. I can't imagine it wouldn't, just because the metagame is cyclical. And you know, nothing stays in the metagame forever unless it's like a Zergling, and even then Zerglings, you know, they fall out of popularity for a lot of players sometimes, and you see a lot of players go for more roach heavy strategies. It looks like we are going to have 4 drones on the way, along with another 2 extractors, so Predator will be going up to the tech path route. He does not currently have a layer down, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see one get dropped extremely soon. We do have a small bust moving up to the front here, and honestly, this is actually quite a few Zerglings. This might do some severe damage here. These Hellions are not in the greatest spot. We do have these Zerglings. We might get a surround on these, but I'm not sure. They are on auto attack, so they probably won't get the best surround. However, we are going to have a lot of these Zerglings sneaking up to the right-hand side and being able to kill off all of the workers down at the lower part. It looks like Revengale is not going to want to be sending units down there, which is a very smart decision, and these Zerglings are going to be able to deny this base for quite a while. I mean, this is going to be definitely annoying. We are going to have this Hellion just making a full sprint across the map, checking on that hatchery, saying, okay, you are going for drones at that third base. It's not going to be a completely full all-in. I mean, it's going to hurt me. It's already hurt me, but it's not going to destroy me, in theory. And it looks like we are going to have these Zerglings coming in yet again. They will finally be killed off in the natural, will finally be free to take its position on the low ground. And we are going to see 2 Widow Mines coming out from Revengale currently. And these Widow Mines should be able to help him hold that front extremely easily. We probably won't be seeing another Zergling run by doing so much damage, because that was a little bit ridiculous. We do have 1 Viking out on the map. He's just going to be killing off as many Overlords as possible. I'm not sure how many he'll actually be able to get, as we do have all of the Overlords from across the map returning to home base. So he might get 1 or 2, but it won't be anything too impressive. We do finally have the layer on the way. This is quite the late layer. I mean, 9 minutes. That gives the Terran player a very, very solid tech lead. It does look like we are going to have an Evo chamber on the way for Predator, and it is going to be +1/+1 coming out from him, so we might be seeing some Ling Bling Muta play coming out, which wouldn't be too much of a surprise. It is extremely popular, especially with a reasonably late game transition into Ultralisks being extremely powerful, because 5/3 Ultralisks are just so freaking strong. It looks like we are going to have a small platoon of Hellions just preparing to move out onto the map. I wouldn't be too surprised to see these guys try to get some scouting information out on the other half. However, currently they're just going to be sitting right outside of their main base. It looks like this Viking will be flying around yet again. He will be doing his best to snipe off as many Overlords as possible. We do actually have Spore Crawlers on the way, which is pretty awkward. I mean, I think this is mainly to ward off drops, but this is a lot of stuff to ward off drops. I mean, especially when you haven't actually really seen drop play coming, this is a whole ton of stuff. And it looks like we are going to have these Hellions darting into the third base. That Spine Crawler will finish up, and these guys will be forced back. However, they should be able to roasty toast quite a few Zerglings here, at least if they control right. I'm not sure. These Zerglings shouldn't be able to get a surround, but you never know. Zerglings can be some fast buggers. It looks like these Zerglings are on attack command, so the surround won't be happening today. However, we are going to have the Hellions running back to base. They will manage to get back there, and they will be relatively safe now, as we have the SCVs starting to run repairs onto these Hellions. It looks like these medevacs are going to be moving out and preparing to pick up the Hellions. Maybe he is going for a drop here. I'm actually not sure, because it looks like he might be, but then at the same time, I mean, he's a Terran player, so he could just be getting ready for a push. I think a drop, the window of opportunity for a drop has definitely passed now. We have 11 Mutalisks on the way. I mean, there's full base defenses at all of the bases, and these 11 Mutalisks will just be able to very easily clean up the drop, no matter how big it is. And this is a very small drop. It's going to be 5 Marines, which is basically nothing. We have our Zergy player going up to 4 bases at this point, so he will maintain a very solid economic lead. Revengale is going up to a 3rd base of his own, so he's going to be in a reasonable spot economically, but it's definitely not nearly as good as his opponents. You know, the macro play from Predator is just starting to kind of overshadow Revengale, and Revengale's doing the best that he possibly can, but he just does not have the upgrades that his opponent has. I mean, he's at +1 armor right now. He does have +1 weapons, but he does not have an armory. Oh, no, he does have an armory on the way, so he will be going for +2 soon, but the +2/+2 from Predator is already almost halfway done, and that's going to be an amazingly important upgrade when it comes down to it. Of course, the only thing that Predator really does not have currently is a hive. I don't even think he has an infestation pit. No, it does not look like he does. We do have the Mutalisks flying in here to do as much harassment as possible. There really isn't enough Marines to actually fend these guys off, and oh my god. Oh, they managed to kill off 15 workers. We had a small pull in this main base. However, there really weren't that many workers in here to begin with, I guess. 15 workers killed for these Mutalisks is going to be impeccable. And Predator being able to do so much damage with these Mutalisks, I mean, that just spells bad stuff for Revengale. I'm not sure how Revengale can really deal with this. I mean, the macro play from Predator is just going to start kind of taking over. Predator should definitely be going for an infestation pit at this point without a question. I mean, just absolutely without a question, he should be going for an infestation pit. He should really be getting those Ultralisks, because there is almost no way he's actually going to break the front with the army he has right now. I mean, Ling Blade Muta is great and everything, but honestly, with Widow Mines and how Widow Mines work currently, it's very, very, very difficult to actually break the front of a Terran player with reasonably equal army supplies and those Widow Mines down at the front, because those Widow Mines will just absolutely wreck your army in two, and will really like swing the pendulum of battle into the favor of the Terran player. Now, of course, Revengale does have the reasonably foolish decision of having an army that is made up mainly of Marines, and there's really no Hellbat support or anything. So honestly, the Banelings, if they can land their hits, they're going to be able to do very, very well, but if they can't, then it's going to be pretty nasty. As far as harassment goes, we haven't really seen anything coming out for the Terran player, and you know how Terrans have been playing recently. They're very, very harassment heavy. They really have to be, especially with how good the Hellbat was in the early game before that nerf. It was very important for Terran players to get a very solid push in before the 10-12 minute mark. And I mean, he's finally doing his first push at the 16-minute mark, and he's going to be moving into a very awkward position. And this Zerga army should be able to move around to the right side here and really encircle him. However, it won't be doing that. It'll just be moving right up the center. And oh, the Widow Mines unburrowing for a second there. That was definitely foolish. It looks like most of these Widow Mines are going to be going off, but oh my god. All of the Banelings go down. That is not a good thing. It looks like Predator is going to be in a little bit of an awkward scenario here, but he does have the upgrades, and he does have the Zerglings, he does have the Banelings, and he should be able to fight this army just head on, and Revengale is just going to be forced to pull completely back to his main base. I'm not sure how well these Widow Mines are going to do. Here, the Widow Mines! The Widow Mines! Oh, one hit goes off onto the Mutalisks. That is an extremely important hit, but it really was not the amazing hit that he needed. We are going to have a lot of these Marines managing to snipe off so many of these Mutalisks, and the Mutalisks are actually going to be forced to pull back. This was so many Mutalisks going down in this engagement. That was not something that Predator really wanted, but it was something he could afford just purely because of how good his economic lead is. If you look at the units tab, it is 59 workers for our Terran player versus 71 for our Zerg player. So the Zerg is going to be in a very, very strong position, especially considering the fact that he is up to 4 bases, and the main base from the Terran player and the natural from the Terran player are going to mine out relatively soon, and they're already like at full capacity, like full capacity. And then if we look at the third base, there actually isn't any refineries, and one of the refineries is in a very kind of blocked off position. It looks like we are going to have 2 Marines moving down here to the potential 4th base for Revengale and just kind of running around, checking to see that there isn't anything super... I don't know why he was checking down there, but, you know, he was making sure there wasn't anything super sneaky going on. It looks like we do have a medevac still sitting here with 6 Marines, and I don't know why this medevac is sitting here. I mean, this medevac really could have turned the tide of that last battle, to be quite perfectly honest. As soon as those Mutalisks hit the main base, if he had had 6 more Marines, he would have actually been able to like chase and kill them, especially with an extra medevac. It looks like we are going to have an amazingly small push out from our Terran player. I am not sure I agree with him deciding to push out like this. This is tiny. We have a small drop going into the main base, but again, this is tiny. Like, there's more Mutalisks than there is ground units here, and there isn't any follow-up medevacs, and that's not going to go well. It looks like we are going to have all of the Marines getting sniped off here. The Marauders are going to be chased out. Most of them are going to be gone. It looks like we are going to have a small medevac here in the main base, not doing too much damage. Actually, only the 4 Mutalisks coming in here. So Predator, with some reasonably bad splitting there, does not actually pull enough Mutalisks to actually fight off that Marine ball. It looks like finally we are going to have the Zerglings swinging in here and cleaning that up. But honestly, Revengale at this point, I mean, he's still behind economically, but as a Terran player, I mean, he does have mules, so he's not in a horrible position. I mean, his bank looks pretty bleak. to say the least. And it looks like he is going to get Widow Mines down, but the Widow Mine shots are going to do a lot of damage to that Terran army. He is going to be forced to run completely over his opponent's Widow Mine army, and oh my god, Revengale, with what might just be a beautiful engagement here, is going to be able to clean up so much. It looks like there are no Banelings right now, and oh my god, Predator, with an absolutely horrible engagement, is going to get forced back by Revengale, and Revengale, with just some great pullbacks and some great Widow Mine positioning, is able to win a fairly decisive battle there. I mean, Predator still ahead 2 bases, but Revengale is building up 3 command centers. He will be able to float that over to the 4th base location as soon as he feels confident, as soon as he feels safe doing that. We are going to have a small bio push happening in the middle of the map here. This is going to be an extremely important bio push. We do finally have 3-3 on the way, along with an Ultralisk Cavern, but honestly, Predator should have had this Ultralisk Cavern 5 minutes ago. I mean, like, this is a really late Ultra Cavern, and it looks like we are going to have the 5th base from Predator getting sniped here, and I'm not sure if Predator can actually hold on to this. And Predator calling the map hack, not sure if that's legitimate. I don't really think that that's what Revengale's doing. I highly doubt it, considering the fact that he hasn't really done anything map hack yet. I mean, it's really just been Predator kind of giving him the victory. I mean, Predator, with an extreme economic lead early in the game, was able to just kind of forfeit it and give it all away and not go for those Ultralisks and just stay on Ling Bling Muta for like 12 minutes, and you can't stay on Ling Bling Muta for 12 minutes or you're going to start getting wrecked by heavy marine mine compositions, and they're just going to absolutely wreck you. It looks like we do have 2 Ultralisks finally on the way, but 2 Ultralisks is not exactly going to be enough. He really needs to be cranking out more, but he has been losing queens to the point where he really just does not have the larva to do it. It looks like this established 3rd base will get sniped off at this point, which is fairly important. The scan goes down. He will be killing off all of the creep tumors, or at least as many creep tumors as he possibly can, and forcing the recession on this creep is going to be amazingly important. It looks like a couple of Mutalisks are going to be trying to engage there, but it's just not going to go well for them. And honestly, Revengale at this point, just coming back from a crazy deficit. We do have 7 Ultralisks on the way, but with all of this creep sniped off and the creep receding, we might be able to see this Bioforce actually just stutter step away from the Ultralisks, because there is not any Infestor play currently. It looks like these Ultralisks will be coming out, and they will be able to do some significant damage. I mean, Revengale's going to have to run, but he has a reasonable... Actually, he does not have a reasonable troop of forces at all at home. He really needs to stop trying to rally his units across the map and just run. However, Predator, in a very kind of awkward scenario, having no creep spread really at this point, he's gonna run into an issue once he tries to move out across the map. I mean, he's already down to just 6 Ultralisks, and 6 Ultralisks against an army like this from Revengale might be in a little bit of a bad scenario, because there really isn't a support unit here, and we are going to see beautiful micro coming out from Revengale. He will be able to stutter step away from these Ultralisks so well, and there we have all of the Ultralisks about to fall. Bam, a 3rd Ultralisk goes down. It looks like we do have some Banelings on the way. However, again, they do not have any sort of Infestor support, so these Ultralisks are going to be forced to... Oh man, God, this is such a weird game, because Revengale was in such a great position, but they didn't pull back fast enough. He lost so many units on the creep of his opponent. And now Predator is in like a good position, but he really does not have an economy to fall back on. He lost so much of his economy in that last fight, and we are going to have Ultralisks moving up here to the Planetary Fortress. This is not where the Ultralisks want to be trying to fight. This Planetary is going to be way too strong when it actually comes to taking engagements. We are going to have this small Marine force trying to Johnny Rico all over these Ultralisks. The Planetary does finally fall. One more Ultralisk will go down here, and Predator, his bank is basically spent at this point. He is not actually making Ultralisks. Predator, why aren't you making Ultralisks? Is your Ultra Cavern still okay? Predator, where's your Ultra Cavern? Did his Ultra Cavern get sniped? What? No, his Ultra Cavern didn't get sniped. I just can't find it. Alright, well, I don't know where the Ultra Cavern actually is. I'm pretty sure I've panned over it. Yeah, there it is. Well, I did completely pan over it. But he's not actually building Ultralisks at this point. He's not spreading creep. He's just building Zerglings. Zerglings are not going to win versus this army. He needs something more. I mean, even Ultralisks aren't going to be that great. They're really just going to be their fort defensive units. And he really needs something like Infestors. We are going to have drops finally coming in from Revengale yet again. It looks like this medevac is going to be in a little bit of an awkward scenario, as it's just going to take so much freaking damage from a Spore Crawl, and it really can't fly in there again. It looks like we are going to have a couple of Overlords getting killed here. You know, that's just the Space Cow Armada getting, you know, getting what comes to the Space Cow Armada. It looks like we are going to have the third base from Predator coming, getting crashed by a party of Marines, and these Marines will be able to kill off a Spine Crawler and then move along to killing off the Predator. And we have what I'm guessing is some cursing in a foreign language, but I really don't know that language, so I have no idea. It looks like we are going to have a small engagement, or well, not a small engagement by any stretch of the imagination. A reasonably large engagement coming down here, but with some beautiful positioning on the Marauders. Oh my god, this is so awkward for Revengale, Revengale. And it looks like we are going to have quite a few Ultralisks in the main base of Revengale, and oh my god, this game is so back and forth, but I think Revengale should be able to hold it, especially if he drops some mules right there. And honestly, this Terran force, I think they'll just be able to kill off the Ultralisks, but Predator is not happy about apparently getting map hacked, despite, you know, really no evidence about map hacking. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you want your games commentated, send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Also, if you would like more Boisterous action, head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. I would like to, again, thank you all for watching this, and this is Boisterous, signing out.